Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, I have one of my most favorite people in the entire world. I have frequented many events. She's been there, and we started out as work buddies and became true real-life friends. Vanessa Vitagliano, did I say that right, Vanessa? Did I get it?
You did.
I've been stressing over here, guys. Vanessa, she does work with dental warranty, but she is a guru in the dental industry. And I feel like she's got so many cool ways to help you guys be unconventional as we're trending into this. Who knows what's happening with the economy? So I'm super jazzed to talk all things dental shop with Vanessa and help you guys become an unconventional practice out there. So Vanessa, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Kiera, not everyone can have such a dental related last name like you. A lot of us cannot compete with that. So
mine's a little easier to say every time. I've known you for how many years? Like our history goes back quite a
it
ways.
does. Yep.
Definitely pre-COVID days. And I think like 2 or 3 or 4 years prior to COVID. And to this day, I still ask you every time, how do I say your last name? I'm like, I know it's a V, like she's got all these letters, V-I-T. I think I could probably spell it better than I could say it. But Vanessa, I love podcasting, one, because it's good to catch up with you. But two, you guys are doing some pretty cool things out there. So if you guys missed our last podcast, Vanessa and I chatted about how dental warranty can really like help you guys increase your case acceptance. And we just did our Dental Team Summit. Lots of offices were intrigued and interested in this. So I wanted Vanessa to come on because not only does giving your patients peace of mind increase your case acceptance, which I'm all about helping more patients. But Vanessa, you guys are starting to see a different trend with lots of different offices of what they're doing. So kind of walk us through like, first and foremost, what is dental warranty? And second, like there's some cool stuff out there that can really set practices apart. So Vanessa, kind of take it in whatever direction you want. I'm excited for this today.
Yeah, no, I am too. And thank you for having us. We had a great time at the summit last week. So thanks for having us.
Yeah,
always love
thank
helping
you.
dental practices. And yeah, so if you're not aware of what dental warranty is, we partner with practices to provide a 6-year nationwide no-fault protection plan on dental treatment. So it's something that the patient is able to purchase from the practice. And if anything breaks or fails within those 6 years, patient's fault or not, as long as they're keeping up to date with their routine hygiene, they can come back into the practice, get the retreatment they need at no cost. But then dental warranty actually compensates the practice for doing that retreatment. So both practices and patients love it because it provides peace of mind on both ends financially for both the practice and the patient. And it just helps increase the case acceptance and generate more revenue for the practice. So it's been really good. And going back to that peace of mind, it is crucial nowadays with how the economy is, even just the fluctuations of COVID keeps going in and out. Even I mentioned Kiera earlier when we were chatting that I'm actually going to Turkey in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even for that, I mean, they're still wanting us to take COVID tests because they want to make sure that everyone's going to be safe on that trip. So despite we're 3 years in of COVID and things of that sort, the economy is still going all different ways. And peace of mind can be a huge value for patients nowadays. And it can be hard to, get those cases accepted if those things are going through their minds.
For sure. I'm also thinking of two things from a practice standpoint. One is I have a lot of doctors, and this is why I love dental warranty. So many doctors, like teams, doctors, listen up. This is for you. How many doctors are giving away free dentistry? Like, get those hands up. All day, every day, I hear, Kiera, our doctor keeps redoing this treatment and it wasn't their fault. And the patient broke the tooth and they just feel bad. And so they're giving away free dentistry. And I would just say, as a quick, like fun exercise for your practice to do, start tracking the dollar amount of all that quote unquote free dentistry. And it is shocking and staggering that we're in the upwards of multiple thousands, most months, I'm saying months, not years, of free dentistry because we don't realize how much we're giving away. And so when I have practices start tracking this, they realize like, I'm not here to tell you to be cold hearted. I'm no Elton John. I know Vanessa loves that definite Elton John cold heart reference for you because Vanessa
I
went to Elton
love it
John.
so much, Kira.
You're welcome. Um, Vanessa actually went to Elton John's last concert, a little side tangent for you, but I don't want you to be cold hearted. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But what I am saying is you don't need to give away the free dentistry, especially if you've got a warranty plan in place that doesn't cost the practice more money and it's very inexpensive for the patient. Like it's truly one of those things that I feel helps so much. So in practices, I might suggest just track it. Track to see how much dentistry in a month you are giving away as free dentistry. And then doctors, this is a great way for you to still be loving and taking care of your patients, but you're not having to have that cost. And that's the second piece I've been thinking of with the economy is, all right, we're doing dentistry today. What do you think is going to happen when people's wallets and belts tighten up a little bit and they don't want to spend as much money? Instantly, you're going to be doing more and more redo dentistry because this isn't working. And for me as a business owner, I like to hedge my bets. I like to make sure I'm protected because if I'm not getting as much money coming in and I'm needing to redo dentistry, those are two negatives on a cash flow that needs to be positive. And so that's really where I wanted Vanessa to pop on today of helping you guys hedge against this because it's coming. Whether you want to see it or not, people are starting to make different decisions about how they spend money. So I don't want to be the person having to redo dentistry for free when patients aren't doing as much dentistry at the same time. To me, that feels like a very scary trap that could be avoided. So that was kind of what I was thinking, Vanessa, when you said that, of just a good way to hedge my investments, hedge my cash flow in a way that doesn't cost anything. And like Vanessa, I think that that's something that people are worried about of like, we don't want to charge our patients more. We don't want to have to tack this on and feel salesy and like, hey, for Geico, 15 minutes or more could save you on your, like, that's what I think of. I've never
For
told you
sure.
that. So
For
like,
sure.
I'm just curious, how does that work? Because dentists do want to help their patients, teams want to help it. But I think there's kind of that awkward bridge because we've never done it. What have you guys seen to help with that? Because I think it's a smart way to hedge your investments moving forward.
Yes, no, completely. And I mean, at the end of the day, you want to help patients, but you can't help patients if you're not in business.
Mhm.
And
I think you
so,
should repeat that, Vanessa. Say that again,
can you
because
say it
guys, you
louder
need
for
to
those in the
listen.
back? Is that
Yeah, for the back row beauties who didn't hear that, here we go.
but yes, but it's so true. So if you aren't, creating a, revenue healthy practice, your practice may not last much longer, especially in the world that we're living in now too, where DSOs are eating up private practices all the time. And so you want to make sure that your practice is financially healthy so you can keep your patients healthy.
Mhm.
And, that can be difficult at times because patients, for some reason, expect you to just do everything for free. And you don't want a bad review. You don't want to piss them off. And so there's all these dances that practices are having to do with patients. And it's a bit stressful
Right.
for everyone involved, whether it's the front desk person, whether it's the assistant, whether it's the dentist, whoever's having to handle that situation. It's always like a one off. Well, how do we handle this? Well, have they kept up to date with all their payments? Oh, but they bring us in cookies. Oh, but they're always such a
Right.
pleasure. Well, they're always, so maybe we'll just give them a discount. Maybe we'll just charge them the lab fee. Oh, but this person, well, they're a pain. So we're going to charge them the full fee. Every time it's a different situation. So it's even hard of how does your team know how to handle those situations consistently
I was just
across
gonna
the board?
like pop on my dental assistant and team hat, like office manager. I will say, doctors and practice owners who are listening, it is very hard for your team to feel confident when it's wishy washy constantly because we go to bat and we're going to charge them the full fee. And then you lovingly to the patient come in and actually undermine us as team members. And then we feel very much like, well, we can't ask. So then we come to you. You then feel guilty. So you start giving all these discounts. And honestly, if we can just have it standardized across the board, I know that doesn't feel good because there's always the Mrs. Joneses and the Bettys and the Susies that we just love. And I'm sure there's a John and Paul and Tom, like, but where does it end and how can your team ever feel confident? So coming as a team member, which I definitely put on both hats, coming as a team member, you've got to have something consistent to give that team the backing because they'll go to bat for you and they're not afraid to tell the patient. And most of the patients aren't upset with it. But we just have to be able to be standard and consistent rather than is doctor in a good mood today? Do they like this person? Are they friends? Are they not friends? To know, do we give a discount? Do we not give a discount? And that makes us feel very incompetent. It definitely undermines us, and our confidence does get shattered when I know it's a very unintentional things that doctors do.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And so, this with what we offer here with the program is, really making it easy to set up expectations with the patient. And that right there can relieve a lot of that stress in the office, for the office as well as the patient. And so it's something that you're able to either include in the treatment or offer as an option. And even if the patient says no, no, I don't want to purchase the protection plan. Okay,
It's
but
fine.
now we know what's gonna happen. Same thing of, I did not get Apple Care the first time around I had an iPhone.
Did you
I can
regret
tell
it?
you the first time that I ruined that phone, I was like, "It is totally worth it," because I don't care to, on a random Tuesday, have to shell another $1,000 for a phone.
Mhm.
Of course, since I bought it, has anything happened to my phone? No, but guess what? I have the peace of mind that I will not be angry on a random Tuesday. It's not Apple's fault that I dropped my phone and, shattered the screen, but life does happen. And that's the biggest thing with our protection plan too, is it's not just failures. This is no fault. This is
Mhm.
something that when that patient leaves your practice, it is out of your control. It is out of your control. Whether they trip and fall, they, bite into something that maybe they shouldn't have bitten into, or maybe something's a little popcorn kernel. Who knows? The stories we hear is endless of what happens to people's mouths. I'm sure you all have heard it all as well too. But that's where it gives that peace of mind because we are using our mouths on the daily basis. We are using it often. We're using it right now, Kiera, to talk to each other.
Yes.
And that's out of your control. But what's great about this too is that in order to keep the protection plan active, patients do have to come in for the routine hygiene. So they're not being incentivized to keep up with their oral hygiene, making sure they're staying healthy, but also coming back into your practice. So when you do have the issues of getting patients to come back in for the routine hygiene, because as much as we all love dentists here, some people they'll find an excuse not to go to the dentist.
It's true. We aren't the most loved profession, Vanessa. I get it. I get it. It's okay, guys. We're still loved. I love you. It's okay.
But it's a great way to incentivize them to come back in and just say, "Hey, 2 years ago, you got those veneers done. We wanna make sure that we can keep that protection plan active for you. Let's make sure we get you back on the schedule." And those patients are 3 times more likely to come in for the routine hygiene than ones who didn't have a protection plan.
Yeah, it would make sense because they're going to go. I mean, with my ring, I have like they got a warranty on it if any stones get loose, but I have to go in and get it checked consistently. And you better believe I do because I don't want that to not be covered in the event something happens. So I think it is a really good way to do it. I also really love that it's covered. And I was just thinking as you were saying, I hadn't thought of this until now. I don't think warranties are as odd as we might think they are. Like literally, I go to Walmart and scan like a freaking broom, and it's like, "Do you want to cover this for the next 2 years?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going to just come back and buy the
Right,
dang broom."
right.
But yet, like, we get asked that. We get asked on Amazon all the time, "Do you wanna add this warranty program on there?" That I don't think it's as abnormal as we might think. Now, I was also thinking like, okay, if I went into the medical field and I got a surgery, guys, they're not gonna redo that surgery for me. I'll just promise you that right now. If that surgery fails, guess what? They're like, "Guess what? You're coming in and you're paying the full fee again." So I'm not sure where dentistry got funny and went a little sideways to think that like, "Oh, we need to redo this." Because I'm like, every other medical profession isn't like, "Oh, you're right, Kiera. Sorry your appendix didn't turn out in the most beautiful way you want. I'll
Right,
redo that for you." Guys, I got scars on my stomach. I had my appendix out and I didn't go back and I'm like, I really want, no, they're going to charge me. They're going to redo it. I've got to pay the new fee for it. But for some reason, and I don't know if it's because we think teeth are so small, like, oh, it's just a little filling. It's not that hard. But I think like when we look at that, warranties are being offered more and more. And it's one of those things where we know in dentistry we redo treatment. Why would we not just offer it? And I know as a business owner, I remember when I first started out, the credit card fee was like something I was stressed about, Vanessa. I never told you this, but like I was stressed because I'm like, okay, like I don't want to charge the client too much. And I remember watching a YouTube and this girl like came right into the camera and she was like, just bake the fee in and no one cares. But they do care if you're like, hey, it's going to be a 3% upcharge, which is true. I hate when I go to the gas station, like, hey, for this, it's going to be an extra 3%. I'm like, just freaking charge me like an extra
right,
50 cents on my candy bar. I'm never going to know. So
right.
take your choice, but I don't think, especially with how low the warranty is, that people are going to notice it. Just like within an SRP, I did tack on my 6-week fine scale not covered by insurance, but something I knew that they needed and wanted. Like, how great would it be if everything was covered for 6 years and you guys just increased the fee a little bit? No awkwardness. The front office isn't asking if they want to have the protection plan. It's just included, which I then think is a great thing to market. And Vanessa, I know you guys have had a lot of cool things of like using the warranty as a great way to market for offices wanting to get more treatment and patients to come in.
Yeah, and actually, I'm glad that you brought up about in the medical field and the warranties and everything. So I don't know if this is going to show as a video or not. I'm wearing glasses right now, but they're like the blue light glasses for
Uh
when
huh.
you're staring
Uh
at
huh.
screens all day. But about 8 years ago, I actually got LASIK eye surgery done, and it's like $2,000 an eye. And at the time, it was like I was like so excited for it, but I had to wait for my eyes to stabilize, all this stuff. I get bad allergies. My eye doctor all the time was like, once your eyes finally stabilize and stop changing, go get LASIK. I highly recommend they should get it. It wasn't through him, it was through somebody referred out to. And I was finally excited for it. But it's $4,000. And I'm like, this is a lot of money. And
Yeah.
so, but I hear about how your eyes can change. And that was a bit terrifying for me because I'm like, well, I don't want to shell another $4,000. God forbid my eyes change. It's not my fault. It's not the doctor's fault, but it's going to be a situation that as a patient, I'm not going to be too thrilled about. And if someone asked me
Hmm.
about LASIK, I'd be like, wasn't worth it for me. If my eyes change, it wouldn't be worth it. But I did get it done. And the LASIK surgeon I went to came with a 10-year protection plan. It came with it. I didn't pay extra. I thought it was amazing. Like, as long as you go back to your optometrist annually, get your annual checkup. If your eyes change at all within 10 years, we'll do free touch ups. Kiera,
That's awesome.
I was like, yes, yes, yes. Fast forward to, I was actually at Dykema last summer getting lunch with Kay Lange, who we both
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
And she had talked about how she got LASIK done and her eyes have been changing. And so I told her that my LASIK surgeon had it came with a protection plan and like you we get free touch ups if anything happened as long as I got to see my optometrist. Which by the way, I would have not kept going to my optometrist after LASIK
No.
if I wasn't told to. I'm
No.
telling you right now,
I
I'll
don't
be the
keep up
first
on
one to
those.
admit, I'd
Me
be like,
too.
cool, eyes are fixed, don't need to go back. But guess what? Dental patients are probably thinking the same thing too. Oh, my smile looks great now. I'm good. I don't need to go back.
Hmm.
We're good. But anyways, she was almost kind of upset. And granted, we don't live in the same state, as you know, Kira. But she's like, well, who did you go to? What do you mean they offer that? Oh my God, that's amazing. I'm like, are you gonna fly out to Illinois now to go get see my but for her, that ended up being such a huge value. And she's like, I wish my doctor offered that because now she's in the situation that she's in. Fortunately
Hmm.
for me, my eyes didn't change, so I'm good. I'm a very happy patient. But being on that receiving end, it made making that decision of spending the 4 grand for me so much easier. Despite I knew I wanted LASIK, I still had all these apprehensions and thoughts and the cost and all this involved with it. For me, I was like, done. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think it's a really cool example because my brother, I'm like, I think all of us probably have a LASIK or his eyes changed and he's super frustrated because they didn't offer it. But I'm just thinking like from a patient standpoint, that's a dreamy vibe to have that. And like how easy was it for you to spend 4 grand because you knew it was going to be covered? And also I was thinking it's actually cheaper for our mutual friend to fly to Illinois, get it
yes,
because the plane tickets are cheaper than 4 grand if she's got to go back for touch-ups. So,
right.
and that's something where I was thinking, like, how many implants fail? And like, I have a friend who is looking for an implant. I'm like, honestly, it's cheaper for you to fly to a dentist who guarantees and warranties this than it is to stay here and take your risk of like in the next 6 years, you've got to go and get this replaced. I also do think, and I'm going to say this like caveat on the other side, I do think offices who offer a warranty are more likely going to do maybe better dentistry. And I'm not saying that any of us do bad dentistry at all. That's not what I'm trying to say. And I hope that I'm resonating really strongly. But I'm just thinking, like, I know for me, I've got a warranty on a lot of the things we offer. I'm like, if you don't see results, like certain clients, I'm like, absolutely 100%. Because I know that if they commit, they're going to see the results. But that also puts me on the hot seat that I've got to show up, that I've got to do deliveries, that I've got to do these things for the clients. And so knowing that you've got a warranty, again, I'm not saying that you're not doing great dentistry now. I'm just saying it's going to make you more aware of it because you've got a 6 year. But the cool thing is, you don't even have to pay for it. You don't have to cover it. Someone else is doing it for you. So I just think that there's a lot of benefits for it. And I think it's a brilliant story you told, Vanessa, of like, it was a no brainer decision because you had that 10-year window. I think as a patient, 6 years on a crown, 6 years on these veneers, especially cosmetic cases, your implant cases, a lot of those bigger surgery ones, like I want to invest that. I want to protect that investment. And I'm usually like, the best thing I can offer is a night guard. Like, here's your night guard. Hopefully nothing happens. And if so, like hope and pray that doctor, like hope that associate's still here and we're not having to redo dentistry. Like there's
Right.
so many things about it. So I think it's a really awesome, I think you pointed out, like we can have it on marketing, like great thing to market to your patients. It can help with your case acceptance. It can help with peace of mind. It also can protect that cash flow of the business. Like to me, when you told me about this, Vanessa, which is why I'm like, absolutely 100%, I will rep you guys. I will talk about dental warranty because to me, it makes so much sense. Why would you not? Why would you not do it? Has been I'm like, psh, if I was a patient, I would definitely sign up for that. Like, why would I not? It's so dirt cheap and it's going to protect my teeth for 6 years. Granted, though, I'm your girl who wants longevity and cosmetics, so I look hot in my coffin. Like people might be offended by that statement. I don't mean it. I just mean that I care about how they look and how long they're going to be with me. I want these teeth in my head when I'm dead. Like that's what I'm going for because I want them for a long time. So that would be, I think, just different things. Different things. Cost. Patients who are concerned about cost. Perfect. This is going to protect you for the next 6 years, like Vanessa, so you don't have to pay for it again if anything happens. I feel like most patients, especially presented in a really positive way, are going to say yes as opposed to saying no because it makes sense.
Yes. No, most definitely, and they do, and you never know the value of peace of mind to a patient until you offer it.
Mhm.
And like I said, even if you have a situation that say no, okay, well now if something happens, they know when they come back in the practice, they're not expecting anything to be for free. And a lot of times our clients tell us like they end up buying the protection plan the second time around
I bet they do.
after
I,
something that happens. But it creates such a great experience because let's be honest, and actually, here our mutual friend Brad, my coworker, he actually got veneers done, and 2 months later, was wrestling with his kid, and his kid popped up and actually knocked his veneer out 2 months
oh,
in. And for him,
shoot.
it was such a big deal to get veneers, and he dragged his feet to even make that step happen. And then 2 months later, for that to happen, and it's like, it just creates such a great experience because then him walking back in the practice with his front tooth knocked out, obviously everyone's initial thought is like, oh no, what happened? But then for it to be such a great experience, like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. Sit down. We're going to take care of you. Let's get you fixed up. Brad goes in there, gets the retreatment he needs, walks out, no cost to him. And then dental warranty is actually compensating the practice for doing that retreatment. So with what ends up being kind of a not so fun situation for everyone involved, it ends up creating this great experience at the end of the day. Kind of this like Disney experience, if you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
to where the patient feels like they're really being taken care of versus the patient walks in, all of a sudden the office like, oh no, grab the office manager. How are we going to handle this? What are we going to do? What do we, just the panic and the everyone trying to talk to each other and figure out how to handle the situation. Instead, you can just really make it a seamless, easy thing. It makes it easy for the team. They can feel confident on how to handle the situation. And we actually even have practices now that, if they do offer the option versus just bundling in, I would bundle it in. But if you
Me
offer as
too.
a, yes, I think that's the best route to go. But even if you offer as an option, we've had practices that have now actually created line items saying that they did not accept the warranty. So it was in
Mm-hmm.
writing to make it
Mm-hmm.
very clear that if the patient come back in, this is how the situation's handled.
For sure. And I just think that it creates clarity. It helps the patients understand what the rules of the game are instead of having expectations missed. And I think for the practice, it's easier. But I was just thinking, like, how great would it be when there's that redo veneer? And I'm looking at my production. I'm like, ah, dang, we got that $0. Like, I get it. We're going to do it the right thing. But like to not have to have it be $0 for the work we're already doing, to me that just feels like, because it is work, like it is our doctor's time, it is the supplies, like yes, at the same, like we don't know what happens, guys. People go bite into an apple, you do the best work possible, but things still happen, it's life. And so to just have that, so Vanessa, how does it actually work? Like how much does the practice have to pay, how much does a patient have to pay? Because like I'd be all in, but of course everyone's like, but how much, like what does this look like? How does it work? Because I remember when you and I chatted, and this is why I rep it, it's not it, to me it's still a no-brainer. So Vanessa, how does that actually work out?
Yeah. So for practices getting started, it's just a one-time fee. So $750 one-time fee, and everything else is through the patient. And so what it is, it's between 10 and 15% of the UCR fee, because that way we want to pay you back would be your full amount for the treatment,
Mhm,
not,
mhm.
including insurance and everything. So it'd be 10 to 15%. Dental warranty takes 10%. So anything over that 10% stays with the practice as additional revenue. So we have some practices they'll just do the 10%. We have some they'll do the 15%. And that extra 5% goes right back into the office. They'll use it for like team bonuses or offsetting COVID costs or things of that sort. But yeah, so it's kind of that sliding scale, but it's all through the patient that they're purchasing it.
Which is amazing. So on that, just to recap, it's a one-time fee that I pay. So 750, which by the way, guys, Vanessa's going to tell you because you're a Dental 18 listener. I know there's some sweet perks around that.
Oh
So
yeah,
one-time fee, I pay that fee. And then how much is the patient having to pay? It's like 10%. So if they're, let's say we're doing a full case, I'm just going to go big. We're going to do a $30,000 whole thing. They're paying 10% of that, which is a $3,000. Is that correct?
correct.
Like,
Yes. Yes. And then the value of that protection plan would be the 30,000 then. So now they have $30,000 worth of dental work protected. And so if anything happens to even a part of that treatment, especially when you're working with the larger cases, typically it's just a part of it that you're having to
right.
redo, you have $30,000 to work with. So maybe something happens and it's $5,000 of retreatment. Well, then we're paying for that $5,000 and you still have $25,000 left for if anything
Mhm.
else happens within those 6 years.
That's very cool. And so also it sounds like it's off of office fee, not off of insurance.
Correct.
Even if they have insurance, which I think is accurate. Is that correct, Vanessa, on
Correct. That
that?
is
I'm
correct.
pretty
Yep.
sure that that's the case. I know it is. So with that, it's your office fee. And then from there, the other thing that I really love on this is that you are going to be able to have it be like that the patient's doing that. So when I think about that $30,000 case, if we add up to the 3,000, I would just charge 33,000. So I'd bake that in because that's much easier for practices to see that amount as opposed to not.
Mm.
So that's what I really love about dental warranty. And I think it's an amazing way to do this. So guys, if you reach out to dental warranty, you guys can just head on over there, mention dental A team. I believe that there is a pretty good $500 off of that startup fee. So it's only $250 that you guys pay, and then you guys can decide how to put it in. And honestly, Vanessa and dental warranty are absolutely incredible. Definitely reach out to them. Vanessa, I'm so honored you're here. Guys, like this is the time. Let's give our patients that success. Let's give them that big peace of mind. Let's protect you guys with cash flow in the future. You have this at your fingertips. And like back to Vanessa's story, which I thought was the most brilliant. $4,000, 10-year. I promise you they added that fee in there and they were able to protect her eyes, give her peace of mind, have a happy patient who's going to refer to you even more. I think it's a no-brainer. So Vanessa, thank you for being on. Guys, go check them out. Head on over to the dental warranty. Tell them that dental A team's there. I'll be sure to link these in the show notes. As always, guys, protect your practices, protect your patients, increase that case acceptance. And as always, guys, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Dental A Team podcast. And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.